In case you guys haven't noticed, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. And I brought my son. Brandon would tell us once, Max would pick it up, Brandon would tell me 10 times, and then I think I got it. But
well, you did good today. Everything that he taught you, you applied, and we did really good.
We did well.
Welcome to Sam's Garage, presented by NH Oil Undercoating. Welcome to Sam's Garage. On today's episode, Sam and Doug team up to get ready to kick off the great race. Next, Sam preps the engine bay of the Chevy Bel Air to receive its new engine and transmission. Then Sam is joined by William Myer to discuss some massive news in the automotive market. And finally, Sam installs new Edelbrock cylinder heads on his Pontiac Catalina. Sam and Doug arrive in Owensboro, Kentucky with the Datsun 240Z to start their adventure participating in the great race.
Well, we've made it. Doug and I are here at Owensboro, Kentucky at the start of the great race. We just got done with a driver's meeting and a 2-hour novice lesson. Man, what do you think about that?
Well, I tell you what, Sam, I really do feel like a novice. You know, normally I drive cars really fast. This one we're going to be driving very precisely, and we've got to really take a look at what we're doing. This isn't a speed race. This is a time race.
It's a technical race. Those instructions are incredible, aren't they?
Yeah, there's an awful lot we've got to learn, and we are truly rookies. Both of us are seasoned racers, but we are truly rookies.
This is going to be a lot of fun, and we need to keep you guys informed throughout the whole thing.
We'll take you guys along our journey, and you may want to do it someday too. I made sure that we arrived a day early. We went ahead and unloaded the car. I went ahead and brought the car through tech inspection. Wanted to make sure the horn, fire extinguisher, safety gear, everything that we might need, tow ropes, just in case anything goes wrong with the car. But if Sam did his job, we should be fine. Got everything all ready. Sam came in, and now we're just going through all of the prep for the race.
So in the great race, we got this thing called mentors. And you got Brandon here. He was one of our mentors along with Christian. They drive this black Mustang you see behind him. So Brandon, how long have you been doing this?
We started doing this in 2017. It took me more than a couple of years, and Christian more than a couple of years, to figure out how to actually race in this event. It's not as clean cut and dry as go out there and just do the speed they tell you.
Have you guys won this race before?
We have not won the overall race, but we've won what's called our division. So the great race is separated up into a rookie division, X Cup, which is college kids, everywhere down to elementary school aged kids, and they can win scholarships. Then you've got sportsman, which is someone who's raced before, expert, which is the division we race in. That is someone that has won sportsman before, and then grand champion, someone that's won it all. There's maybe 5 teams in this that have won it all before.
That is very cool.
So that's what we're chasing.
We are looking forward to the rest of this week, and hopefully we're going to win.
I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys do, and if you make a podium, I get a certain amount of credit.
That's
10%.
right. I've done some rallies before, but never anything like this. It was extremely difficult. There was a lot of stuff that we had to do, and I messed up many times. We got a little bit of help with some guys where we should have started some watches. We went ahead and we got fuel and we got stuff. There was a lunch break. We got a little help. They were just help keeping us on track. And so we made sure we started at the right time, we crossed at the right time. Sam did a phenomenal job keeping the speed right where it needed to be. Sam, congrats.
Thank you very much.
Otherwise, we would have been at the wrong time really getting out. So, I mean, like I said, the contestants here have been absolutely fantastic, helping us along this journey. journey, and it is a journey, and we're only at the beginning. We got just a little bit of a taste what this is going to be like.
And from what we got with our numbers, we don't know what any of those numbers mean, but everyone's talking about how well we did and congratulating us.
Yeah.
So we got a total of 26 seconds off, some plus, some minus.
Some minus, yeah. But in the segments, the most we were off in the segment was 9 seconds. Some we were down to 2. It was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, for rookies, being under a minute, that says a lot. It's really good news.
We're really having a wonderful time, guys. If any of you ever get a chance to watch the Great Race come through your area, I highly recommend it. There are some unbelievable cars here.
The scenery out there, the countryside that you go through.
Yeah.
People standing by, waiting for you to drive by, saying hello.
People taking pictures, greeting you when you're coming in.
And our first time, we had 2 obstacles.
2 obstacles, yeah.
2 obstacles.
We did. Somebody didn't want us to pass pulling a trailer. They drove in the middle of the road. That was one obstacle. And we also...
Paint.
We had paint, and we had an ATV going down wrong side of the road in front of us. That was another obstacle, but all in all, we prevailed.
Welcome back to Sam's Garage, presented by NH Oil Undercoating. Sam preps the Bel Air's engine bay for the new engine and transmission by removing the steering column and gearbox and making a few minor modifications.
So this week it's all about prep. We're gonna get everything ready for the LS engine to go into this 55 Bel Air. There's a lot you gotta do to this because of the X frame. We got to cut off the ears for the motor mounts, the old ones. We're going to have to remove the old steering system, put in a new steering system, and then we're going to have to drill some holes for our Dirty Dingo engine mounts and for the cross member. A lot of work, a lot of prep for this one, but once that's done, the rest of it should go pretty easy.
Hopefully.
You ready to work?
I'm ready.
All right. So to get the column off, there's a C-clip you have to remove on the steering wheel. Remove the steering wheel, take the C-clip off. There's another C-clip down here, remove that. There's a couple of hardware, remove those. It's like 3 or 4 hours worth of stuff. I took a Sawzall, we're not using anything. Cut that sucker right in half. Separated the column from the box, removed the 2 pieces as a unit. Didn't have to remove anything, disassemble anything. We're not reusing anything. So cut your time in half, save the customer money and time by cutting the column in half, removing it. What I did also was went ahead and removed the factory steering column and box because we're going to go with an upgraded steering system. It's going to give us a lot tighter feel, better ratio. So we went ahead and removed that box, put in our new box, put in our new idler. That way the engine's out of the way, it's very easy, it takes minutes, not an hour. So when you guys are doing the Bel Air or any X-frame, it's going to be a little bit harder than your average car. The old Bel Airs, the motor mount sat at the very front of the engine where the timing cover sits. There was nothing on the side. So the new LS engine, of course, bolts up from the side. So we're going to use the Dirty Dingo motor mounts on the motor, on the car itself. And what I had to do is remove the 2 rivets that held basically the frame together. First, I went ahead and put my brackets in place, bolted them in place so that they're actually sitting where they're supposed to be. Then I went up on top and I drilled the 2 holes from the top on both mounts. That puts them exactly where I want them to be. There used to be the 2 ears, which were the old transmission mounts. We're going to cut exactly what we need to without damaging anything. Paint the edges, make sure there's no rust forming in the future. They're completely out of our way. You'll never see them. That gets the job done. If you guys had the body off the frame and a lot of time, you can cut this off completely, make it nice and clean if this was a show car. Now you want to take a look and make sure that everything is out of the way. The biggest thing is I'm going to use a 4L80 transmission. If you're using a 4L60 or a 65, you don't have to do this, but there's a pinch weld right here at the body and it comes about a little over ½ an inch protrudes out away from the body. So take some notches, cut them, then that way it's very easy to bang it up flat with the body. You're gonna see a lot of debris fall down. You're gonna expose paint, take a spray paint everything that you just banged and cut. That way you won't have any exposed metal. There'll be no form of rust. That'll make it a lot easier for you to put the 4L80 in. So now everything is done under here. The next thing we have to do is put the motor mounts on the engine, change our Bryan 2-Lee camshaft, and slap the unit in the car.
Well, Sam, the steering column was a little more tricky than we expected, and the motor mounts. But after that, I think you did a really great job.
Nothing a good saw couldn't handle.
Yeah.
you know? So we went ahead and took care of that. We took the engine and transmission out as a unit because we went ahead and removed the core support because we're gonna be putting a complete cold case efficient cooling system in the car. So hopefully we'll be able to get next week our 6-liter 4L80 combination as a unit back in the Bel Air, and we should be ready to roll.
Hopefully it goes in as easily as it came out.
Yeah. So Joe, if you were to purchase a brand new vehicle, the best one you want to use is Boss Wax. And I see that you have a nationwide lifetime transferable warranty, but not only that, you report every job you do to Carfax, so it's got a permanent record.
Basically, it is a proactive permanent record, so it is a good thing to have. Now, is it the best finish? It's a personal preference. Boss Wax, I would say, is probably 95% of the brand new vehicles that come into us because you need to have a completely new rust-free surface would opt into the Boss Wax. And then we apply oil to the body cavities, which is critical. It's more important than the surface because you can touch up a surface, you can see it. You don't see the interior of a frame, and it's prone to hold moisture, it's unfinished. So our oil is gonna go in, creep, migrate, go in the spot welds, the seams, and then we're gonna babysit the truck. You come in every 2 years, we inspect it, breaches in the surface, we touch it up, and then we re-oil the body cavities. And so it is a great way to extend the life of the vehicle 10, 15 years.
So if you guys purchase a brand new vehicle, you want to protect that vehicle and keep its value as long as you can, you want to definitely look at NHOU's Boss Wax.
Welcome back to more Sam's Garage, presented by NHOU. Sam sits down with William Myers, the founder of NOPI, to discuss the company's history and future of this automotive icon.
I am here with the founder of Number One Parts Incorporated. You guys know it as NOPI, Mr. William Myer. And we got some real exciting news for you guys. NOPI started in
1966.
1966.
Way back yonder. I'm a mechanic at a VW dealership. I enjoyed working on them, and we wanted to get involved in something different, so I leased a service station on the side of the Atlanta airport. I had a partner that went in with me at that time named Butch Gibbs, and he was a mechanic like I was. And we decided we got tired of pumping gas. We wanted to get out of the gas business and just work on cars, VWs mainly. Then we decided, liability purposes, we'd go ahead and incorporate to keep us in a safe harbor. So we did that. We went from Forest Park Service Center to Number One Parts Incorporated. My sons, I had two of them, Mike and Mark, and they got us into the show business. They young and energetic, and that was the thing that they wanted to do. So I said, well, we've done pretty good selling parts, and we'll continue to do that, and then we'll do some shows also. So let's get it cranked up.
That was when in 1999 when I opened up Madavi Motorsports because the import scene was getting so big. We were all getting into the imports, and the cool thing about the import scene is that it's affordable. The NOPI Nationals started in Atlanta Motor Speedway in the late 90s.
Well, the first one we did was in Marietta on Claystone. Then we moved to Lakewood Park.
Yep.
Fairground is a big park. I remember they were lined up from Lakewood Park
To the interstate.
back up Lakewood Avenue to our Interstate 75 and 85. It owned two of those highways, and the police come down there and told me, Mr. Meyer, you're blocking traffic on the interstate with these cars trying to get off, come to your show. So I said, well, what you need to do is, we were coming in by the lake. It had a lake on the Lakewood, in the showgrounds. I said, going up to about a mile up here to Lakewood Heights, make a turn and come back down and just line the cars up down there. Then we get on the track and then go around and line them up around there. And then over by the grandstand, we'll be checking them in.
Yep.
So we took care of that problem, got the police happy, and they went on, and the customers were happy.
Then you took that show and you grew it into Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Right. We outgrew Lakewood.
Yes, you did.
And then Atlanta Motor Speedway was a new, modern race,
Big venue.
oval NASCAR racetrack.
Yes, yes. So NOPI Nationals, one of your biggest years was in 2001, 9/11 weekend.
All the airlines were closed, the bus line, train, everything was at a standstill. No outside entertainment, no car shows, anything going on.
But they all drove in.
So I said, we gonna do it. We gonna take this 9/11 weekend, and we gonna, well, on past 9/11 weekend, we was gonna have our NOPI Nationals at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and we did. And we attracted people from Miami, California. We had more cars than we could we couldn't get them all in there. We had to put them in the speedway around the track and in the infield, as many as we could, and we started stacking them outside as many as we could, and we'd run out of room.
100,000 spectators, 7,000 registered cars. It was absolutely huge. It took up every inch of the Atlanta Motor Speedway, both inside and there was a car show outside in the parking lot. So the cool thing is that William and I are bringing back the NOPI Nationals along with some regional shows and a few drag races. Look for it coming in 2025. You'll see if you go on social media, you'll see a lot of stuff coming up for NOPI on social media leading up to 2025 season. We're very excited about it. This season on Sam's Garage, you're gonna see me build an Lexus SC300 race car, bringing back the NOPI Nationals.
This is the first for me, and I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, and we're gonna get you youngins out there interested in motorsports, getting your hands dirty and getting into the hobby and having a lot of fun and coming to the NOPI Nationals in 2025.
Welcome back to Sam's Garage, presented by NHOU. Coming up, Sam installs the new Edelbrock high-flow cylinder heads and roller rocker system on the Pontiac Catalina.
So this is an exciting week. We're gonna put our engine back together by assembling the front timing cover, the cylinder heads, and we're gonna put our radiator back in. My back feels like it's gonna go out, so I'm gonna have you do all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, I'll help you out.
I'm gonna torque all the hardware down, should be easy. You ready to work?
I'm ready.
Awesome. So the timing cover, there's gonna be a gasket, which is really nice on this Pontiac. The timing cover and the oil pan are actually angled down, so that if you ever want to do a camshaft swap, it just pulls right off. Whereas the other engines, you have to drop the oil pan, lift it up, pull the timing cover, and your gaskets are all messed up. They give you a piece of gasket that goes on the bottom portion of the pan, glue it in place, then very simply put your timing cover back on. What I like to do is tighten the 4 5/16 bolts that are on the bottom of the cover. That's going to draw the cover down to the pan. That way you can very simply tighten the other bolts, drawing it to the block itself. That way you know that the gap between the timing cover and the pan is going to be perfect and you'll have no leaks. Then you want to put the new gasket on the fuel pump before you put it back in. Make sure you guys reinstall that cam on the camshaft itself so that it can drive the pump. We're going to be using an Edelbrock sump pump system, so our mechanical pump is going to feed the high pressure pump instead of having to replace the fuel tank to a baffled style tank. We are going to go ahead and replace the fuel hoses because they are old. That way we have no problems, no issues. We have a full fuel system when we get to that point. So the Edelbrock cylinder heads are going to take a different head bolt set. There are 8 of them. The long bolts are going to be 4.250. 2 of them, the edges, are going to be 4 inches long. 2 of them are 2 inches long. So it's very important that you stand your bolts up next to each other and see that 250 thousandths difference.
Very easy to get those mixed up if they're just laying on the table.
You always want to make sure to put lube on your threads and on both sides of your washer so you have no binding, and that way you have equal torque. Now these Edelbrock cylinder heads are going to give you a huge benefit. They're one, lightweight. That's a big difference. They've got huge intake valves and 160 exhaust valves. They've got 3-angle valve jobs. They've been port matched at the ports, both the exhaust and intake side, to flow better when it comes to the gaskets themselves, and they look so much better.
That looks really good though.
It
Huge
does look good.
difference from the factory.
So now we're going to go in with our push rods and our adjustable roller rockers. Now these are for a Ford. They're going to work just fine because they're a 7/16 stud with a 1.6 rocker. They're a roller and they fit and work just fine. The first thing we're going to do, we went with a hardened push rod. This is a 9.5. We have to go a little bit longer because of the adjustable rockers. Well, in my opinion, the hard part is done, and that was the cylinder heads. Those OEM cast iron heads weighed a ton.
Yeah, they were no joke. They were super heavy.
Very much so. Those Edelbrock heads shaved off at least 100 pounds for the pair.
Yeah.
That's like taking a passenger out of the car. It's a big
Exactly.
deal. So next week what we're going to do is continue on with the Catalina project by installing the Edelbrock ProFlow EFI. It's going to be the intake manifold as well. We're going to go ahead and install the cooling system and the fueling system at the same time and see if we can crank this thing. That's if the headers get here on time.
Hopefully.
Be sure to check out Sam's Garage on these other media platforms. Send us questions and feedback to info@samsgaragetv.com. And that's a wrap for this episode of Sam's Garage. Sam and Doug have just started their journey on the Great Race. The Chevy Bel Air is now ready to receive its new engine and transmission. Sam and William announced the epic return of NOPI in 2025. And Sam's Pontiac Catalina shaved some weight with new aluminum cylinder heads.